going on YouTube? Welcome into the first ever episode of the Out of Bounds show. Listen, it's been a long time coming. If you know me, I know you lot have been getting on to me. Yo.
Where's the video? Yo, welcome to the podcast. When's the content coming out?
Well listen, I've listened to you lot and I'm here now. I did a podcast about a month ago. I did one episode of that. And you lot liked it, but you wanted it more visual. You wanted to see this beautiful face. Nah, I'm just playing with you. You see this setup. I'm doing it all professionally for you guys to make sure it's a good experience. So before I start the video, like, comment and subscribe. And let's get into it. Tonight is the night of the NBA playoffs. We've got so many great matchups here tonight. It's finally happened. After 82 games, after the back and forths, after the James Harden fiasco, after my team, the Lakers, shambles. There's so many great matchups this playoffs. I mean, I'm looking at, you got Brooklyn versus Boston. You got Dallas versus Utah. Nah, okay, not that one. So, for the first good matchup we're going to get into tonight, listen, this is one I've been waiting for. Obviously, I knew Brooklyn were going to beat Cavs to advance to the 7th seed, and now we've got it. Boston versus Brooklyn. You got Jason Tatum versus KD, Jaylen Brown versus Kyrie Irving. Who you guys got? Let me know first of all. Okay, so with this matchup here, I mean, you got great talent on both sides. You got the Boston Celtics, who the second half of the season have been easily the best team in the league. They've been smoking teams. I'm talking about winning games by 20 each game. And then you got KD and Kyrie, two guys who have been there and done that. Played in the biggest games in NBA history. You can never ever count out against. Even though they're a 7th seed, listen man, you got two killers on the court. And when you got two killers on the court, you already know you have a chance in any series. It's going to be a good one. Let me give you my prediction and then let me tell you why. I got Brooklyn. I got Boston winning in either 6 or 7. One, I say 7 because they obviously got home court advantage. That's going to be beneficial. But the reason why I picked Boston, is the fact that, listen, the Nets, offensively, can't complain. You got KD and Kyrie, two of the best scorers in NBA history. But defensively, it's just not there. I thought towards the end of the season, the Nets would have started turning it on, proving to the league, to show the league, okay, listen, at the end there, we know we've had a bad season, but we are who we are. We are one of the best teams in the league. But it's just not there. I don't know why, man. In terms of the Nets, obviously, you got the personnel. They got a lot of small guards on their team. So it's definitely easy for teams to really penetrate, get to the basket, rack up fouls on them. But offensively, again, listen, they like to space the floor, hit the threes. You got KD and Kyrie who can easily orchestrate. But with the Nets, there's a lot of KD and Kyrie. That's the thing. So you're obviously going against Boston, who was easily the best defensive team in the league this season. You obviously got Marcus Smart, who's going to make it long for Kyrie Irving. But the real question is, can Kyrie Irving then do it on the defensive side of the ball as well? That's where I have my issue with the Brooklyn Nets. Again, you got KD, yeah, who, again, Giannis, KD. Let me know, who do you think is the best player? My best player is... It's a toss-up for me, I'll be real, I don't know. But what can the others do? You got Seth Curry, who's been nursing an injury. He didn't really look that great against the Cavs. I think he had a lower leg injury, so again, that's always hard to come from. You got Patty Mills, a great offensive player. Defensively, he's going to get targeted. We already know that. And then you got Jason Tatum, who's been playing at an MVP level the second half of the season. And he's someone, he's got that confidence. Like, when I watch him play, he reminds me of Kobe Bryant so much. Again, I'm not comparing him to Kobe, but the way the games are played, he reminds me of him so much. So it's like, when he sees KD, he's thinking, listen, I don't care. You may be KD, but listen, I'm still the best player on this court. He has that look in his eyes. And then you also got Jaylen Brown, who's turned into a solidified second star for them. You obviously got Robert Williams, who should be back, and a Marcus Smart for the series. Two great defenders who can easily be all defensive team. And I think they would end up on an all defensive team. So yeah, man, that's the reason why I give the edge to the Boston. Because offensively, they can match up with the Nets easily. But defensively, there's levels. So it may come back and bite me, but I got Boston winning in 6 or 7. I really thought it's going to come back and bite me because it's hard for me to go against KD, man. Like, he is 1 or 2 in terms of the best players in the world, but again, it is also a team effort as well, man. So I got Boston winning in 6 or 7. If you think different, let me know in the comments, and then we'll see tonight. First game, game 1. For number 2 on my matchups you need to see, you got the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Toronto Raptors. Now you're probably thinking, Jay, like, why is this a great matchup? Philly are probably going to end up winning. But I'll say, hold up. Do we really think Philly's going to win this series? And let me tell you why. I'm either going to get cooked for this, or I'm going to be looking like a genius. But I think the Toronto Raptors are about to win this series in 6 or 7. And let me tell you why. You got Joel Embiid, who's been playing at an MVP level this whole season. Probably going to finish second or third. But he's easily one of the best players in the world. We all know that's a fact. But then, his sidekick, James Harden. If you're a Harden fan, you may want to skip this. But I'm going to be real with you. He's looked like a bum for the last 30 games this season. He can't get his shot off against no one. His finishing around the rim has been poor. His fouls have obviously decreased because the refs are looking at it like, nah, we've seen your game now. We know what you're about. We're not going to get tricked by those calls anymore. So his points has drastically gone down. Obviously, his assists are always going to be there. He's also been a great playmaker. But in terms of him penetrating like he normally does or settling for a step back threes, the shot hasn't been there. You got a playoff choker in James Harden. You got a playoff choker in Doc Rivers, who the Lakers are apparently crying about getting next season. Please, we don't need more stress on this side. But you obviously got those two playoff chokers. You got Tobias Harris, who again is another player you can't rely on in the playoffs. And Nick Nurse is about to send 5 6'9" Africans at Embiid all game. And with James Harden, he struggles against length a lot. I think the last game against the Raptors, he finished like 3 from 15 or something like that. Bro, how are your stats looking like concert dates? Like, he's averaging like about 14, 15 points against them or something like crazy like that. So it's going to be hard to see, man. So that's one of the reasons why I think that the Raptors may take this series. But the only thing I would say is for Philly, which is a benefit for them, is defensively the Raptors are amazing. Offensively though, however, that's where the challenge is. You've got Pascal Siakam, who's had an amazing season. He's really had a comeback season as well. He should be in the running for most improved, having an all-star season. You obviously got the rookie Scotty Barnes, who's come along, who is he going to win Rookie of the Year? Probably not, but if I had a vote, I'll probably give it to him because he's someone that contributes to winning. But I got them winning in 6 or 7. You heard it here first. If they do end up winning, I'm going to be looking like one mad genius. But if they lose, then yeah, let's forget I said anything about that. Now, number 3 on the matchups you need to see. Listen, this is why I love YouTube, because I wasn't able to do this on my podcast. You see this. I need to get used to that. You see this. You see the plays, what I got going on now. I've got the plays in the back. And you got my boy, Ja Morant. Listen, shout out my boy Oren, because he's been telling me about this guy for the last 3-4 years. I always thought he was a good player, but I did not see this. I did not see him turning into the superstar that he turned into. And if you're Zion Williamson, you must be burning. Seeing a boy who was picked under you in the NBA draft turning into the face of the league at his age. So it's crazy to see the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. You got Karl Anthony Towns versus Ja Morant. You got Jaren Jackson Jr. versus Anthony Edwards. You got Pat Bev versus Dylan Brooks. It's going to be a great series, man. I see the Grizzlies winning in... You know what? I'm going to say 6. Why I say 6 is because, again, the Grizzlies are still a young team. Even though they had an amazing season, I think they finished with the second best record in the whole entire league, which no one could have predicted, especially not me. But I see the Grizzlies winning in 6 because they are a young team. I still feel like they're going to end up... Jesus. I don't even want to get into that, but yeah, man, I see the Grizzlies winning in 6. Again, I feel like they are a young team. They have to go through their playoff bumps. They're going to probably end up losing the game because when you got Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, and D'Lo as well, how can I forget D'Lo? Again, the Timberwolves are always going to have a chance. But defensively, that's where the Timberwolves are really going to have to lock down and lock up, because offensively, I think they were probably the best team offensively in terms of percentages in the entire league. But defensively is where they really let themselves down. So you got Pat Bev, he tried it then. He tried it. But yeah, you got Pat Bev, obviously going to try to do his best to really lock down Ja Morant. But the thing is, even if you take Ja out of the game, Grizzlies 1 through 8, 1 through 9, they got some killers on the court. They were 20-3. You heard that right. 20-3 without Ja Morant this season. When do you ever hear of that? But if you go 20-3 without your superstar, that's how you know you're in a complete team. So it's going to be a great series. If you're Karl Anthony Towns, the world is going to be watching you, because he was doing a lot of this, especially to my Lakers, and it pissed me off, I'll be real. It pissed me off. And if he's able to have a game like he did in a play-in game against the Clippers, it's going to be scary for you on social media, my bro. You better lock off social media completely and accept what's going to happen, because if he's going to get locked down by Jaren Jackson Jr., who can easily win Defensive Player of the Year as well, yeah, man, you're in for a long summer. Anthony Edwards is definitely a key for them in this series. He showed me in that playing game, no matter how bright those lights are, I'm not afraid of this moment at all. So if he can go off and show he's one of the best, probably let's say young players in the league, listen, the Timberwolves are definitely going to have a chance. It's going to be a great matchup. Let me know in the comments who you think is going to win this matchup. Again, I say Grizzlies in 6. I could be wrong. And to be honest, it could go either way. It really can. So we'll see. Hopefully everyone stays healthy. That's one thing we always have to say. But yeah, I see the Grizzlies winning in 6 for this one. And then number 4 on my matchups you need to see. I'm going to get controversial again. Let's get spicy. Because what I believe, obviously, this video is going to drop on Saturday, just before the playoffs. But tonight, the Atlanta Hawks are playing Cleveland for the last spot in the playoffs. And if the Hawks, I believe the Hawks are going to win. You got Jarrett Allen for Cleveland Cavaliers who's coming back to play this game. So it could change. But if the Hawks do win and they play Miami in a series, listen, I think the Hawks could easily win the series. Now let me tell you why. Again, you're thinking, what's this guy talking about? Does he watch basketball at all? I do. I watch a lot of basketball. Defensively, they're great. Offensively, it's where they're a little bit challenged. And Atlanta Hawks are a high-powered offense, so you're going to have to match up with their offense to make it a good series. Again, with the Hawks, defensively, I think the last 15 games they've shown, okay, when they need to get stops, they can get stops. Obviously, they're going to try to go at Trae Young because he's obviously not the greatest defender in the world. But what Trae Young can do to them as well, offensively, it's going to be tough. And with the Miami Heat, they're relying on Tyler Hero in clutch time to get him the buckets. Yes, he's had an amazing season. He's going to win Most Improved Player of the Year. But if you're relying on your 6th man to get you those buckets when you really need it, and Jimmy Butler's not really stepping up, his shot hasn't really been great this season, it can go either way. So we're going to see. And I'm getting spicy on this show, but it's the first show we have to start with a bang. Listen, I got the Hawks winning in 7. Yes, Hawks winning in 7. Again, this is probably going to come back and bite me, but listen, we have to stick with our guns here, man. But I think the Hawks can easily win this series, so I got the Hawks in 7. Actually, game 7 will be in Miami Heat's arena. Let me just stick with it. I said Hawks in 7, so I'll stick with it. Hawks in 7. You got Trae Young, who's had an amazing season. Led the league in scoring, in terms of total scoring. Led the league in total assists. The first ever player to do that in college and the NBA. And a lot of people counted him out because he's so small. But man, he really is offensively, he's a generational guy. Like, let's give him his props. And then last but not least, number 5 on the matchups you need to see. When you got Seth Curry, it's always must-see TV. Now the reason why this is number 5, however, is because they're going against the Denver Nuggets, who obviously got the MVP in Jokic, who had one of the best seasons I've ever seen. What he's done in terms of carrying his team with his 2 main guys out the whole season has been phenomenal to watch. But that's the reason why it's number 5 on my list. Because we know what's going to happen. Obviously, we know Jokic the MVP, but he's probably going to get knocked out in the first round. However, Steph Curry is coming back from an injury he suffered about, I think, like last month or something. And if he's not feeling right, then they could make it a series. But when you still got Klay Thompson, you got Jordan Poole, you obviously got Draymond there defensively, I think we all know it's going to probably be, I'll say the series is probably over in 5 or 6. If they can get it to 6, then that's very commendable for the Nuggets, but the series is probably over in 5, I'll say. But there have been some reports that Jamal Murray, we've seen him working out, dunking the ball, getting his threes up. So if he can maybe come back for the series, it's going to be hard to obviously miss the whole season and then go straight into postseason basketball. Well, it could make things interesting, man. Listen, I'm all here for drama, so I would love for him to come back. You obviously got Draymond Green, an all-world defender who can guard 1 through 5. But when you're going against Jokic, listen, it's a different animal on that side, man. So it's going to be hard for them to obviously stop Jokic, but it's going to all be about the others for the Denver Nuggets. What can Austin Rivers do? What can Aaron Gordon do? I don't really put my faith in them a lot, but you never know in the NBA playoffs. That's what I love about the NBA. You never know what can happen, man. You never know. So listen, man, it can be a good series. Game 1 will definitely be an indicator of how it could go. But yeah, we'll watch out for him. And then obviously you got the other 2 series. I'm not really concerned about those because we already know what's going to happen. You got Milwaukee versus Chicago. What Giannis is about to do to Chicago should be illegal. Again, the Chicago Bulls had a great season. Props to you guys. But yeah, man, it was a case where injuries just got the better of them. They were number 1 in the East for a good period of time, but injuries just X your whole season. That's over in 4. I'll give you 5 just to give you guys credit for the season you had. And then you got Dallas and Utah. This could have been a good series, especially when you got Luka Doncic on one side. But this is why players load manage. For people who don't like players missing out games for health and whatever may be the reason, this is why in game 82, the last game of the season, it should just be like a little tune-up just before the playoffs. Luka Doncic, boom, out with a calf injury. Like, come on, man. So calf injuries are really hard. They attach to the Achilles, I believe. Giving you guys a little bit of science there. I think I'm right. I hope I'm right. I think KD had the same injury when he tore his Achilles a few years ago. So calf injuries are always dangerous. We just found out a couple hours ago that Luka's obviously not going to play game 1. So I would say I got the Jazz winning this game in, I'll say 6. And why I say 6 is obviously Luka can always come back for maybe game 2, game 3. But I'll say 6 because the Utah Jazz are just an unserious franchise. Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, like, I can't take those guys seriously, man. And with the Utah Jazz, they're prone to lose a game. They can be up 20 with a minute to go in the fourth quarter. They'll still probably end up losing the game. I'll probably see the Utah Jazz winning, but with them, you never know. So again, we'll see. We'll see. And that's the thing I love about the playoffs again. You never know what's going to happen. Again, you obviously got a playing game. Well, when it drops, it's going to be yesterday. You got the Hawks versus Cleveland, and you got the Clippers versus Pelicans. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about the Suns. Pelicans, whoever they play, is a wrap. But we just found out that Paul George is out with, not out, but he's in COVID protocols. So that basically means I think he's out for like 8 days. He has to stay locked in his hotel or room or whatever. So he's not playing in that game. So now that's happened, I give the edge to the Pelicans. You got Brandon Ingram, you got CJ McCollum about to do damage on the Clippers there. So I'll probably see the Pelicans advancing, making it to Phoenix. But if they're playing against Phoenix, it's going to be a 4-0 sweep, man. Phoenix have easily been the best team. It pains me to say, but they've been the best team in the league throughout. But yeah, man, that's a wrap for the end of the first video. If you enjoyed the video, again, like, comment, subscribe to the boy. Subscribe. Yes, you. Subscribe to the channel. Again, and watch out for the next episode. I'll probably do the next episode maybe after game 2, game 3. I'll let a few games pass so we can really get into what's happened. And I'm out.